Hello friends, I got the Dopey sweatshirt on, which means today we are talking Dopey. Now, we are getting super close to July 1st, which means Dopey training officially starts. And I know the question on everybody's mind is, what should I be thinking about? So there's 3 key things that you want to be thinking about right now that you have got to get in your arsenal before July 1st. The first one is, of course, your plan for training. And we will discuss more about this, including a link to my training plan, which will be dropped in the comments below. 2, we're gonna talk gear. We're gonna go all the way through all the gear, as well as giving you something that I definitely want you to consider, especially if you live in a colder climate during the winter. And 3, we're gonna talk about the all-important fuel, including hydration and nutrition. All right, training plans. You have got to have a good training plan if you are planning on doing the Dopey. And how do you know how to pick the right training plan for you? You need to consider first off where you're starting from. So there's lots of different training plans out there, and a lot of them you can get from free, including mine, which I'll drop a link in the comments below. However, you need to figure out if it's the right training plan for you based on where you're starting. So Run Disney offers free training plans, the Galloway method, and you can literally go from not really running at all to finishing a Dopey. At least that's what they say based on their method. And there's lots of people online who have used it and they think it's fantastic. Now, I am going from training for a half marathon to training for the Dopey. So my training plan is a little bit different. I mean, my first long run is 11 miles, right? And I understand in week 1, there are some people who can't do that. So that's what you need to look for, is which training plan is going to work for you based on where you are right now. Now, if you are already in half marathon shape, which basically means, yeah, I could go out tomorrow and run a half marathon. It may not be my best time. I may not feel the greatest, but I could definitely finish it. That's what I mean by half marathon shape. Then I would definitely check out our training plan. On it, we do have 2 rest days. Now, I will be clear about those rest days. I do Pilates on rest days. My husband, who's using the same plan, does nothing on rest days. So we put them as rest days because he didn't want me putting them as Pilates days, but you can use those days for whatever you want. You can cross train on those days. You can do yoga, Pilates, you can rest, whatever works for you on those days. What I would definitely recommend is getting in the miles that are on that plan. Now, why should you use my plan as opposed to any other? What I can tell you is that although we have not Dopey before, this is a modified version of the plan that we used to run the Disney World Marathon 10 years ago. We were happy with our times with that marathon. We both felt that the training program was very good. We just modified it for the Dopey because you have to have those 4 days in a row. Now, I'm going to tell you, I am not planning on having a good marathon time, friends. I am not. I am planning on crossing that line with a margarita in my hand. That's not going to be a good time because I got to stop and get that margarita in Mexico. Right? Okay. But it's still a solid plan. And I think we're going to finish really strong and we're going to feel really good during the process. So it's free. Check it out. Feel free to modify it as you like and use it for your training program. Okay. Number 2, we've got a gear check. So we're talking all things gear. 1, you need to make sure you've got good shoes, and this can take a while to find a pair that works really well for you. If you have never visited a running store before, I would highly recommend you do that right now. And I'm not talking about a general sporting goods store, although they can have some good people. I'm talking about a legit running store. Now, if you happen to live in the Pacific Northwest or near Issaquah, Washington, I would definitely recommend going to Chicks. And I know you're going to say Chicks is not a running store, Dr. Amy, and you're right, but Chicks is amazing at helping you find the best shoes for your feet. They are not sponsoring me or endorsing me. I just think they're absolutely fantastic. And if you are close enough to drive and you need running shoes, I would definitely recommend Chicks. Actually, just if you need shoes, I definitely recommend Chicks. Okay, moving up from there. socks. Now, socks are so critically important, and I would definitely recommend considering compression socks if you're over the age of 40. I admit, when I was in my 30s, I saw people running with compression socks, and I thought that that was ridiculous until I got into my 40s. And now I run with compression socks, especially for long runs. But I'm going to have to get some more pairs because Dopey involves a lot of running. And you know, friends, I'm going to have compression socks on the whole entire time. So I need to stock up on some compression socks. I'm just trying to decide right now. I'll tell you which ones I end up deciding on. But I'm just trying to decide right now because there's some really cute Disney ones out there. Well, not real Disney ones, right? Because we can't do that. But you know what I'm talking about. Okay, next thing up is the clothes you're gonna run in. And here's the thing that I want you to remember. I live in Washington State, which gets pretty cold during the winter. I have tons of cold weather running gear. But this race is in Florida, friends, and chances are it's not going to be cold weather there. At least I hope. Like, I hope it's at least decently warm there. But anyway, I know they've had ice on the course. You can drop a comment below and tell me if you were in that one. But I'm hoping that that's not what we run into this year. So it's almost July. I have got to get some gear because I've got to test it out. Now, I know some people like running in like those like really elaborate costumes, which is like so awesome. Like, I think that's fantastic, you guys. There's literally no way you're going to find me doing that because I need to be comfortable. That's just who I am. So anyway, I need to get my gear fit checked out now because I only have a couple months before it's going to start getting colder again. And then I'm not going to be able to run in like shorts and a t-shirt and stuff like that. So keep that in mind. If you live in a colder climate, you got to check out your gear now because you're going to run out of time before the weather turns bad. The last thing I'm going to recommend that you consider, and I know this sounds super ridiculous, you may have never tried them before, but I cannot stop talking about how much I love my UFOs. And I did not ever want to get these stupid recovery shoes. I thought that they were ridiculous. I am that person. However, I hurt my foot a couple months ago and I needed to get ready to start training for Dopey. So I bought the stupid recovery shoes because they were all online and everybody's talking about how great they were. You guys, they really are that great. Okay, they really are that great. I'm going to include a link below to the ones particularly that I bought because I have a pretty narrow foot and this one has a strap on it so that you can adjust it. That has a strap. Actually, I think we're not supposed to say anyway, it has one of those straps on it so that you can adjust it. So it works better for narrow feet, but I'm sure any of their shoes are fantastic. If you have narrow feet though, I'd recommend you check out the ones in the link below. All right, the last thing on our list today is fuel, which includes nutrition and hydration. Now, we'll be talking about this more as we go along because I'm still trying to figure out what this is going to look like. But right now, what I want to talk to you about is your general nutrition and hydration. So for June, I really made it a point that one of the things I was going to do was drink more water every day because I'm busy. I'm treating patients all day and I don't necessarily take the time to drink enough water. I know I tell you all to drink water. I know if you watched any of my YouTube videos, I talk about drinking water. However, I'm not always the best about drinking water. So I've been working on that for the past month and I've definitely been working on my nutrition, particularly my protein. I struggle to get enough protein every day and I'm going to be shooting for 100 grams while I'm Dopey training. That is a lot of protein, friends. So over the month of June, I've been trying to generally increase my protein intake a little bit each day so it doesn't hit my gut so hard when July 1st comes around. So we'll talk more specifically as we go along as I talk about the nutrition and hydration that I'm using on the course and what I'm finding that works with my training and what doesn't. And I'll share all of those tips with you. But if you're waiting to start your Dopey training right now, I'm going to encourage you to look at your nutrition and your hydration just in general as opposed to with your racing. All right, friends, there it is. All the things that you need to be working on right now while you're waiting to start your Dopey training. Or maybe you've already started your Dopey training and you hadn't thought about those things yet. Drop a comment below. Let us know how far into your training cycle you are and what's working for you and what's not. If you've got some great tips that you think people would benefit from nutrition and hydration to gear towards training, feel free to drop them below, and let's be a community that helps each other get through Dopey 2025.